Hey everybody, I hope you're all doing well. So it's been about 2 weeks since the Battlefield 6 open beta came to an end, which means DICE are currently busy collecting player feedback. I've spent the last week or so reflecting on my experience with the beta, so in this video I'm gonna talk about what I think needs to be improved from beta to launch. So without further ado, let's get into the video. The first thing I did when I booted up the beta for the first time was heading into the options menu, and oh my god, what a nightmare that was to go through. I mean, there were so many settings, but that isn't a bad thing. It's the way they were organized that's a problem, because there were so many submenus, and you would also have duplicate menus. Some settings even had descriptions that were too unclear as to what they actually did, like the settings for keyboard, mouse and controller, which had several overlaps. It all made for a very cumbersome experience, so I hope this can get cleaned up for launch. Next, I want to talk about performance, because that's an area I think could be improved. To get the specs out of the way, I play on PC with a 5950X and a 3080 graphics card, and while that's not the latest and greatest, it's still a decent system in 2025. When I played on the Siege of Cairo map, my frame rate would hover around 80 FPS, and that's at 1080p with all settings on low and with no DLSS. If I turned on DLSS quality, it became better, but still not to my satisfaction. I've seen other players with better specs than me complain about bad performance, but others have also praised the performance. It's very confusing to me, but after I used a config file to tackle high CPU usage, it drastically improved my FPS. But it shouldn't be necessary in my opinion. This clearly shows that the game needs further optimization, and I hope that's something DICE will prioritize for launch. While we're on the topic of performance, I need to talk about the mouse input, as that's been a hot topic since Battlefield 2042. During the beta, Drunksy, who's one of the developers, asked on Twitter if mouse input had been fixed. Now, I don't want to dunk on him, but when you ask something like that, it could easily be interpreted like you don't know if it's fixed or know how to fix it. Whatever the case may be, it doesn't inspire much confidence. In my experience, I don't think it's fixed, because I constantly felt like I had aim assist slowdown applied to my mouse when aiming from target to target. I looked online to see if anyone had any suggestions to eliminate this, and someone suggested I turned all of these settings down to 0. That improved things by a lot, but I still felt some occasional aim assist slowdown. Drunksy also mentioned that if you were used to a certain sensitivity in previous games, you could simply double that in BF6 to get the same feel. I've used the same sensitivity since Battlefield 3, so I wonder why they would make such drastic changes that would require you to double your sensitivity. I went back and played a round of Battlefield 5 just to see how the mouse felt, and I immediately noticed how flawless it was, so I don't know what's going on with BF6. DICE really need to take a good hard look at this, because it's very frustrating when your mouse isn't performing the way it should. Now let's switch gear a little and talk about the user interface and heads-up display, or HUD for short. This is probably the one area that needs the most amount of work in my opinion. First of all, the HUD elements are located in too many different places. You have the scoring table at the top, and next to it you have the kill feed, then your weapons info at the lower right, your squad list and minimap at the lower left. Add to that all the notifications that appear, like the kill confirmation to the left of your crosshair and the team actions to the right of your crosshair. Some of it appears when you don't need it, like when you're next to a support player you get prompted to pick up health, or when you're near a supply bag it resupplies you. It's too cluttered and needs to be contextual like in previous games. I also don't understand why DICE keep moving the scoring table with every new Battlefield game. It's always worked fine having it above the minimap, so why keep changing it? Having it there is much more ergonomic for your eyes, as you don't have to look in all these different places for your match info. That would also solve the major issue with the scoreboard, which is the fact that it can't show all 32 players at once, since the scoring table takes up too much space. To view the entire scoreboard you have to press a button, which isn't convenient when you're in the middle of a match. Previous Battlefield games managed to show all 32 players on the scoreboard, so DICE should really change that for BF6. Something else I noticed with the HUD is when you capture a flag, the line underneath it indicating that it's being contested shows up even if there are no enemies. I think that needs to go, as you could easily be confused into thinking there are enemies on the point with you. It should be like previous games, where it only appears when enemies are contesting the objective. When it comes to the HUD icons, I believe they could also do with some improvement. You see, when I first played as Recon, I didn't know I had access to the deploy beacon, since DICE said they had moved it to the assault class. Apparently that wasn't part of the beta build we played, and I only realized after I accidentally equipped it. What I'm getting at is that some of the icons are too difficult to identify, like the squad leader icon, which needs to stand out more for the rest of the squad. This could be done by making it bigger and also have whoever is squad leader always be the first name in the squad composition list. For the gadget icons, they simply have to look more like the actual gadgets, which I'm sure DICE can figure out by looking at previous games. The final thing I want to mention in relation to the HUD is the prompt that appears for kit switching. I'm very pleased that DICE brought it back after so many years, but I think it needs a rework. You see, the reason I go for kit switching is to get access to the gadgets, and since it often happens in the heat of battle, I don't have time to look at the weapon stats. The class icon is what needs to be front and center, and I would accompany it by the class name, so I know exactly what kit I'm about to switch to. That way I already know what gadgets the enemy likely had carried, and that's basically all the information I need to determine if I should kit switch or not. Next, let's talk visibility and audio, as I think they are problematic areas as well. I think Siege of Cairo and Empire State are the worst offenders when it comes to visibility, as these maps have so much detail. The NATO faction and its beige outfits blend in so well on Siege of Cairo, whereas the Pax Armada faction is very hard to see on Empire State. It's gotten me killed quite a few times that I couldn't see them before they actually killed me, and it doesn't help that enemy footstep audio is virtually non-existent. Hopefully these areas can be improved for launch, so they won't become a frustration during gameplay. Also, I kid you not when I say that I literally heard the voices of McKay, Boris and Crawford during the beta. I really hope they get replaced at launch, because I almost had PTSD from thinking of their cringe voice lines from Battlefield 2042.
Ooh, sorry. I mean, I am as shocked as you.
When it comes to the Recon experience, I don't think it's a good idea having both the sweet spot mechanic along with the kill confirmed training path. In case you don't know what the sweet spot mechanic is, it basically enables you to get a one-shot kill when hitting the body of a player within a specific range. I'm not sure at what range the sweet spot activates in BF6, but in Battlefield 1 it could start at just 20 meters depending on the weapon. I think it should be changed so it only one-shot kills players in the chest at extreme close quarters. That would be more interesting, but other than that, you should only reward players going for headshots, which is why I welcome unrevivable headshots from Battlefield Hardline. Speaking of feature, or lack thereof, I have to mention that if you're using a sniper rifle along with toggle for aiming down sights, you can't unscope by activating sprint. This problem was first introduced with Battlefield 2042, and it's now been carried over to BF6, but what's more disappointing is that the problem now extends to DMRs. It's very puzzling because if you're using a sniper rifle in the firing range, you can unscope your weapon by activating sprint when using toggle for aiming down sights. I'm not sure why DMRs and sniper rifles are the only weapons that have this issue, but it's very annoying. If it's because holding breath is on the same button as sprint, then I'd say DICE simply need to make sprint take precedence over holding breath. That's how it worked in games prior to Battlefield 2042, so they really need to fix this for launch. Something else I wondered during the beta was that infantry didn't have any resupply in health stations. I believe that's an oversight, because you couldn't pick up ammo from support players either. It's not that I want attrition back, but because there weren't any resupply stations, I did find myself running out of ammo from time to time. It would have also helped if dead players dropped small chunks of ammo you could then restock from. I think DICE should bring both of these features back, but then also make it so you pick up supplies from support players by merging ammo and health like the supply bag. A couple neat features I missed from the beta include the ability to throw back enemy grenades. You weren't able to inspect your weapons either, which is a popular feature among content creators. Hopefully both of these features will make it in at launch. Some general issues and bugs I noticed include forced spawn-in at the start of a round. For whatever reason, that's been a recurring issue since Battlefield 5, so I'm not sure why DICE keep doing it for then to fix it later. I know you can edit your loadout after you spawn in, and that's great, but I still prefer doing it from the deploy screen and then be able to spawn whenever I'm ready. Speaking of deploying, when you're on the deploy screen you can't bring up all chat by pressing J, but pressing K for team chat and L for squad chat works just fine. That's also a problem in Battlefield 2042, but it wasn't an issue in games prior to it, so I'd like if DICE could address it for launch. I noticed that the Recon C4 explosive restocks automatically after use. That's not the case with other class gadgets, as they require a supply bag to get them back. I'm pretty sure it's a bug, but I thought I'd mention it. Last but not least, there's assist count as kill, or assist as kill as BF6 likes to call it. Apparently it doesn't add to a kill total on the scoreboard, so that needs to be fixed as well. That's all the feedback I have for you. I realize the game releases in just a few weeks, meaning they might be too time constrained to implement this feedback, but then I'd say they just have to delay the game. After all, they can't afford another botched launch, so I think it's important that they take their time and implement as much feedback as possible. So my ideal scenario would be to delay the game until March and then use the extra time to work on all the feedback I mentioned. Then come January or February, they could release another beta which should hopefully address most of the problems. It would make for a better game which should be in everyone's interest, so I hope they aren't too strict with their current release date. That's basically how I feel about the state of Battlefield 6 heading into launch. But what do you all think about it? Will the game be ready for its October release date, or do you think DICE should delay the game? Let me know all that and more in the comments below. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next one. Take care.